is president, I believe, of the clerks local in Montreal and of the ILA. And we've been working with Albert for a lot of years to the Canadian Maritime Council.
I'm good, I'll sit down. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. I'd like to say, first of all, thank you to the executive, your membership, for the privilege of being with you. It's the second time I've been at an ILWU conference. And it's a privilege. It is. I'd just like to stand up quickly, just to the young people, it's what it's all about.
Hear, hear.
Setting the bar high, you know. The ILWU podcast, young people involved. You're a great example of what a union is about. You know, I got involved about 30 years ago as a young person, and like I said, it's my second conference with the ILWU. The second conference with the ILA, I was elected as Atlantic Coast Vice President. So. Because I was active from a young age, and I had people around me that supported me. The Canadian Maritime Workers Council is a group I got involved with, in a good part because of Brother LaHaye in the back, telling me I should be in Ottawa and I should be present because there's some things going on here that you'd be interested in, and sure enough, he was right. I've always had support with the ILWU. You're the strongest waterfront union in Canada. You're one of the strongest waterfront unions in the world, if not the strongest. And I've always had a good rapport. It's always been whatever they could do to help me, and I'm talking about everybody I spoke with. You know, this week, it's like being home. I don't feel like a stranger. Although I'm a visitor, there's so many friendly faces, there's so many familiar faces, people I hadn't seen in a while and seen in Ottawa or Montreal, and it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling. So on behalf of the ILA, like Pat Riley, Pat Murphy, these guys that a lot of you know, they all want to send their farewell to Mark, and also wish everyone a great convention. That's for sure. They send messages. In Montreal, the Longshoremen's group is CUPE, which is a Canadian Union of Public Employees. Who knows, one day maybe they'll be in a waterfront union. There's a possibility there, but I also get along well with them. I believe in working together because we have a common enemy. You know, our common enemy is not always the employer, although most of the time it is, but it's also our government in some cases. I just want to give you a quick update of what's been going on with the Canadian Maritime Workers Council and how important it is that the ILWU is a part of it and what they've done to support everybody in Canada. I've got a quick story, and a lot of you know it already, and it's about a young lady that started on the docks about 10 years ago. And she raised 3 little girls. She started on the docks 10 years ago. This woman has never been arrested for anything, never been picked up or questioned for anything, but the 3rd little girl that she raised was her brother's daughter. And that became a problem because that brother's always in trouble. He's always been in trouble, and that's why she raised the little girl. She came out of her 3rd session of operation for breast cancer, and she got a letter from Transport Canada. And the letter said, because of your association with this individual, who was her brother, that she doesn't have a choice about, that they have to review her clearance. And we'd already talked in the Canadian Maritime Workers Council about a case to go forward with, because there's a lot of bad cases. There's a lot of cases that, you know what, that have to be challenged. But we said whatever one comes first to reconsideration, because she ended up being the one going to reconsideration, we'll push that one forward. You know, we'll all get behind it on a volunteer basis. No obligation, just on a volunteer basis. But that's how it works. When people have your back, and they don't need to have your back, but they have your back because they want to have your back, there's a big difference there, and that's solidarity. Although I like the video with all of the young people's different ideas about solidarity, I think they're all valid. And you know, I was able to attain that. I was able, you know what, to tell this woman, and she wrote a letter, and
Share it with us.
It's tough, Frank. The letter is a thank you letter to the ILWU. It's just, sorry about this.
We feel it too, brother, don't worry, we feel it too.
Mark Peter.
Yeah.
Dear brothers and sisters, I'd like to thank you for all your continued support regarding the cancellation of my security clearance. As you know, this has been a very difficult time for my family and I. I'd like to update you about my case so we can all appreciate the importance of this fight that lies ahead. Although I have refuted all allegations against me during the Office of Reconsideration process by providing concrete proof that this case was built on erroneous and non-existent facts, including an email sent by RCMP to Transport Canada indicating that I was never the target of the investigation. I finally received acknowledgement from the Office of Reconsideration and their independent advisor, Jean-Claude Bernet, did I say that right?
It looks good.
I'm kidding. Stating that the RCMP's report did not offer discernible facts providing the allegations against me. Minister of Transport continues to uphold the decision to cancel my security clearance because they believe I have guardianship of my niece, which I do not. That brings me in proximity of my brother. Therefore, they believe I continue to be a risk to marine security. I will continue to fight for change and persevere not only for my case, but also for all current and future union members that find themselves in a similar situation. And I hope that you will continue to stand in solidarity with me. Your support does not go unnoticed and will always be appreciated. Sister Brenda Forget.
Thank you. I start getting choked up here when I start just looking at the letter because she calls me on a regular basis crying. And I'm strong. But it's just insane that Canadian workers, like people working because of working on the port, are put through this. This woman's never been picked up or questioned on anything and never been arrested, zero record. Her employment history is perfect. Never a complaint at her work. Everybody loves working with her. And they take away her right to work. They take it away from her.
Shame.
It's disgusting, right? Shame is right, Frank. And she's not the only one. And it's not something that's going away. And we go to CMAC and we argue and we fight and we put these things forward and it's just like spinning tires, you know, we're on ice. They spin us out the door. This year's CMAC, they put us right at the end of everything. I guess everybody that wants to leave could get out before we start to complain about this kind of shit that goes on. It's disgusting stuff. And you know what? I'm so thankful that ILWU, is behind the Canadian Maritime Workers Council because without it, there's not a lot of strength, there's not a lot of power. I met with the policy advisor for the Transport Minister on February 24th. And I told him, I said, there's no procedural fairness. They get this letter, they got 20 days to respond, and they have to prove their innocence beyond a reasonable doubt. They're already found guilty. They're guilty by getting this letter. And it doesn't make any sense because of where you work. Brenda's lawyer last week when I spoke with her, I was asking for an update and stuff. She's waiting for the federal court to come back with one thing, but she doesn't feel optimistic about that because the federal court hasn't been very, very kind in these situations. But she said, when these regulations came out, people knew nothing about terrorism. They knew very little compared to today. Today we know terrorists, they usually strike in populated areas. That's where they usually act. They don't go to a place where there's nobody around. They want a place where it's like a train station, whatever. And do all of these people have to have clearance? Are they guilty by association? Or could they be subordinate to something because they don't have much money in the bank? These questions are not being answered. They're not being answered. They're not being acknowledged. It's I didn't come here to do a speech on just a thing. I just want to bring everybody up to date with this Canadian Maritime Workers Council because it's a very, very important part of my life. It's part of who I am. And it's a large part because of the ILWU being a part of it. Because without the ILWU, like I said, the substance is the biggest waterfront union in Canada is supporting this. And when I met with the policy advisor and I told him this, I said, people's past, I have my own members sometimes, they're telling me skeletons in the closet. I said, you know what? I represent people going to work. What they got in their closet's none of my friggin' business. I don't want to know what they have. It's none of my business. That's the reality. Whatever people do outside of the workplace is not my business. but transport wants it to be their business. And they want to know someone at 18 years old that got busted for drunken driving or smoking pot, whatever it was, stupid things that mean nothing in the workplace. And it's wrong. It's wrong, and it has to be stopped. It has to be stopped. For Jet's case, you know what? If we don't win it, we've got to continue with another one, and we won't stop. We won't stop until they acknowledge that we can't be treated like second-class citizens. They can't discriminate. Hassan was here and he spoke and everything, and I know the previous government, you know, they didn't really take kind to labor and the Liberals. Like I said, at least I had a meeting, and a good part, the reason I had the meeting is because I'm part of the Canadian Maritime Workers Council. It's nice to be ILA VP and stuff like that, but you know, it's when it's East Coast to West Coast. And I actually said to them at the time, and I won't go on anymore, but what I said to them at the time is that in New Jersey recently, they closed the port in Jersey because of the twig carts. They closed the port, and it wasn't the union. It was the workers that decided, you know, they're fed up with the bullshit with the twig carts and the Waterfront Commission. And where they've adapted these regulations, where I see these regulations are from, is from the Waterfront Commission. This guilty by association, all this stuff is all written prior to, from the friggin' days when they were trying to get rid of organized crime or mafias or whatever. And that's where they brought them into our workplace. That's, you know, it's not, they're not creative. They've pasted and copied, you know, copied and pasted. So, you know, I just want to say thank you very much for giving me, you've got a lot of great labor leaders here. You know, you have Big Bob and Patty here, and these guys they're amazing, you know, just to hear them speak. And, you know, Willie and guys that I've met before. The last convention I was in, I'll close with this. The last convention I was in, with you guys here, there was a big thing going on with Rio Tinto in Alma, Quebec. Now, I'd never even heard about the Alma, Quebec situation until I came to the ILWU convention. You know, I'm from Quebec, but I never even knew what was going on. And these guys from Australia started telling me about Alma, Quebec, and they're going to be up there in like a week or something. So I ended up on a bus and up in Alma, Quebec.
Hey!
It's just amazing that you guys, you know, you really set the bar high, and you know what? And it's something that I'm very proud to call each one of you brother and sister. You know, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I got one thing. You know, this year, I don't know if everyone's aware, but our Canadians back home were starting off with a record season, and they came up with the Canucks. They ended up losing their first game to, I guess you know which team that was?
Canucks.
It was the Canucks. So, you know, I know Mark is going to be retiring from here, but I just got him this because maybe the Canadians could use a little help. So I got him this, I'll try it with the team.
So I think it's safe to say, Albert, we appreciate you say you feel like you're with friends. We feel like we're with friends when we're with you.